In this video, I'm going to show a really cool command called intersection curve that kind of comes into play from the video I showed last week on creating that kayak paddle. Intersection curve allows you to create really nice smooth curves instead of having to manually edit each of the control points. I'll also show a couple other tips and tricks, so let's take a look. So in this video, I want to highlight a really cool command called intersection curve. I didn't show it in the last video because I wanted to keep the steps a little bit simple. And this is kind of like the next level, but you'll notice you're going to get a much smoother and better result and a much better surface. In fact, if I come in here and inspect with the ISO curve, like I showed in the last video, I'll go ahead and crank this up to 12 and turn on my curvature combs. You'll actually notice I get really nice, even, smooth curvature combs. These are obviously sticking up pretty substantially because of how it's curving over here, but that's actually a really good result all the way across this surface. So let me show you how you go about creating this intersection curve. If I turn on my sketches here, let me turn on all of these, you'll notice I have my top view and I have this side view. And once again, these were created from the canvases. So there's my side view and there's my top view. And then I use a command called intersection curve. So what I need to do is create a sketch, and I'm going to pick any of these planes. It really doesn't matter, but in this case, I'm going to click this front plane. Now, somebody asked in the comments in my last video, how am I rotating this view from orthographic into 3D? So I have a 3D connection 3D mouse, and if I try and rotate, you'll notice all it does is only pan and zoom. It doesn't rotate in Sketch. So to get it to rotate, I'm actually holding down my Shift key and my middle mouse button, and you'll see the little orbit icon appear. And as soon as I move my mouse, it's going to start to orbit. The other method you could use if you don't have a 3D connection and you're in this orthographic view and all you can do is pan and zoom, is just come up to this cube and just click and drag anywhere on the cube. So I'm holding down my left mouse button and you can see I'm now rotating it to be orthographic. So that's the other method. Okay, so I can see I have my top profile, I have my side profile, and you'll notice a key thing, which I'll point out, is that my side profile is extending past my top profile in both of these, the front and the back. And I'll point out why here in a little bit. Also, you'll notice that I have kind of a different kind of spline. And somebody in the comments mentioned, how come you didn't use Control Spline instead of Fit Point Spline? And I'm going to highlight both of those in here also. You have more control over the control spline and you'll actually get a nicer result, but I find it a little bit more complicated to get the result that you want to start out with, and that's why I didn't use it in the first video, but I will highlight it in this video. Okay, so here's the cool command. I go under Create, Project, and then there's this intersection curve. Then you'll notice it's asking for a curve. So I'm pick the top profile. And then it's asking for curves or faces. And I'm going to pick this side profile. And we get this new profile that shows up. And what it's basically doing is it's using this side profile and this top profile, and it's creating a new curve. And you can see how that goes all the way around. If I say okay, and I'll turn off these other sketches so you can see the result, we get a very nice, smooth 3D curve. And this, to me, is way better than doing the top view and then how I move those control points up and down. And I don't know if you remember from the last video, like I even had like a little kink over here that I could have spent more time fixing, but this removes that problem because it's using a smooth side view curve and a very smooth top view curve to create this new three-dimensional curve, which I can now come in and say patch. I'll select that profile and you can just see even like with the light reflection how nice and smooth that surface is. So that is honestly, I would say, the preferred method for creating these type of surfaces, or these guide curves, I should say. So I'm going to undo and show you. Let me just back up really quick. What would happen if we didn't have this spline go all the way across? So I'm going to edit my second sketch and I'm just going to pull, let me rotate isometrically so you can kind of see what's going on here. So we can see how this point kind of drops off behind this point, and then I'll do the same thing here. I'm just going to grab that and maybe move that up a little bit like so. Okay, so still same top view, but a slightly different side view. Now I'll create my sketch. I'll rotate isometrically so we can kind of see a little bit better. I'll do the intersection curve, pick that profile, pick this profile, but notice the result that we get. It's not a closed profile because it only went to the end of this line. So it's basically getting rid of that information. And then same thing here. You can see how it couldn't create the back part here because it's using this shorter spline. And so that's why you want to make sure you extend past your boundary basically on one of your splines. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this with the new spline. So I'm going to create a sketch. I'll do it on the top view. So in the last video, I showed using the Fit Point Spline, which is probably the more popular type of spline because you can literally click right on the image and trace around it. Now, I would say it's easier, but you run the risk of creating more complex or issues with your surface. So, even though this looks really good, if I start adjusting this, I could potentially create some kinks. Now I'm going to over exaggerate a little bit here, but this line looks nice and straight, but it could actually be going in a little bit and then coming back out. Let me just kind of extend this so you can kind of see. So it could be doing something like this, and ever so gradually, that would actually create a wrinkle in your design. So it's better to use the Control Point Spline. Now, the reason I didn't show this on the last video is I find it a little bit more confusing to use, but it is more powerful. So if I go under Spline and say Control Point Spline, I can't really like trace over the image. The spline is actually going to be controlled by like a cage. So I'll start here and I'm just going to randomly click a couple points and you'll see how the spline is kind of floating underneath these points. It's not going through the points. So I can't really like click on the edges to, catch to them. Like if I were to click right here, you'll notice the spline is not going through that point. So I'm just going to randomly click a couple points here. And then I might just go here, for example, and finish my spline. Now you'll also notice it kind of came to a sharp point. So we'll deal with that here in a little bit. So now I have like this basic shape and you can see the cage that kind of controls the spline. So if I start to drag this point around, you can see how I can adjust the spline by adjusting the point or points of this cage. So I might just do a couple of these really quick. Let me bring this one down like so. I can bring this guy across, and it's kind of helping adjust the tangency and the location of the curve. So let me bring this guy down. And so you kind of just move this cage around to kind of get the overall shape that you want. But you'll notice it's keeping really nice, smooth curvature. I can't really like kink this spline at all. It's keeping really nice curvature of the spline. So I'm just going to adjust these to kind of match my shape a little bit. Now, in this area here, I don't want it to come to quite such a sharp point. So I can click on my spline, right mouse click, and say Insert Spline Control Point. And then you'll notice as I get over this edge, it's kind of adding this extra line. So I'll just go ahead and click right there, and it added that point. And then I can do the same thing here. I'll click right here, and it added another control point. Then I can drag these points, and you can kind of see how it's going to adjust the curvature there a little bit. I'll do the same thing here. And now I'm kind of smoothing out. Instead of coming to a sharp point, it's now doing a nice smooth curve. Like so. Okay, so you can see again how I was able to create this particular shape with a minimal number of spline points. Also, I'll just show this really quick. If I came in here and click maybe this point here, right mouse clicked, I could say delete, and I might be able to actually create this shape using less points. Now, in this case, it looks like I actually might need that point, to keep it touching here. You can see how it's dipping down there. Maybe, I might be able to get away with it. Let's just go ahead and see just by adjusting these points. So you can see I was able to actually remove one of those control points. So again, use the least amount of points as possible to create your shape. I'll say finish sketch, and then I'll do the same thing for this front view. So I'll create a sketch, click the front. I could use the Control Point Spline to do that shape, but because it's kind of simple, I might just do a Fit Point Spline. And once again, I'm going to make sure I go past this. So I'll just click a couple points here, like so. That helps define the overall shape of this paddle. So once again, you can see how I'm going past this curve here, and I'm going past this curve here. I'll finish my sketch, turn off my canvases so you can kind of see the two splines, create a sketch on any face. I'm going to just say the front face. I'll rotate isometrically and use project intersection curve. Pick the two curves, and we get the nice, beautiful curve, like so, that we can then use to create our patched surface. So that is the intersection curve command, and hopefully you can see how beneficial and how powerful it really is compared to having to move the individual spline points like I showed in the last video. I hope you learned something new and enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you've hit like and subscribe. That way you'll be notified of upcoming videos. If you'd like to learn more about Fusion, make sure you visit my webpage at cadedllc.com. And as always, have fun learning Fusion.